Did your mind ever, first of all, is there a time that you ever aren't painting? And if there is, then would that be safe to say that that's the time that your mind is not shutting off, of course, but taking a rest from what's going on in the world? Or do you find that your mind won't rest, and so therefore you're forever painting? Or what's, how does that work for you? As a man, how does it, as a person that has a social life as well, and are you forever getting these, being that you are the vessel, are you forever getting these messages where you can't stop, can't shut it off? Or
you know what? Fortunately, I'm blessed with the ability to sleep well at night.
good,
I get my 8 hours of rest every night.
good,
I truly believe that it's so important for people to
Yeah.
sleep,
me too.
because that's recharging of the human battery. And also, I'm not always painting. I think it's important to have leisure time, because that's also rejuvenation and rest and exercise for the mind. However, I am always conscious of my surroundings and of the world that I live in. I listen to NPR, I listen to all the major network news stations. I don't necessarily believe everything that they tell me. I further investigate it, and I make sure that I surround myself with people of all sorts, not just one type of person, because I want to make sure that I really hear what's going on in the world. And then what I do is I go and I paint it. I'm a reporter,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I paint the news on canvas.
Coming out on the canvas, yes. And I'm not going to say instead of words, because the truth of the matter is like you said, first of all, a lot of your pieces do have words, which are can be evoking emotion. I'm staring at one now as we speak, so pardon me for not looking at you at this moment. Or those words that are subliminal, that are underneath there, provocative, could be. So but you are definitely getting a message across. Are there any paintings that you've done over the course of, and when was it? When did you first really, I know it was early on, but when did you really recognize that, oh my God, I'm not this little boy playing with crayons or paints anymore, but I'm actually, wow, I am this vessel. I am creating a message. When did it hit you?
The first time, believe it or not, I've been painting all my life. I've been painting ever since I was a child. But when I was at the U.S. Naval Academy, I was commissioned by the officers to paint whenever we had Army-Navy games, and particularly in the destruction of a man's life. I realized the power of art at that point. I was probably about 18 or 19 years old, and our job was to get rid of the weakest link, who happened to be my roommate, through the sake of, nothing is by chance, but because my last name was Vaca and his last name was Vallow, I was roommates what's called a shit screen. This individual was brought into the Naval Academy not because of his ability, but rather because his father was a very powerful individual. And so...
I'm sorry, did you say shit screen?
Shit screen, yeah.
What? Could you tell me what
Shit screen is like if the shit hits the fan, the shit hits the screen.
Okay,
That's
okay.
the one
So you learn
that
something
catches
new
it.
every day. Thank you.
So basically, having been roommates with this individual, whenever anything went wrong, it was usually this guy's fault. And the way that the military works is you're only as good as the weakest link. So this individual, the punishment would be given to everybody so that he would feel the heat. So for example, let's say this guy did something wrong. Then everybody in the platoon was made to do 100 push-ups while he stood around and watched. So what ended up happening was people started really having animosity and hatred towards this guy. And anyway, I was told to do these paintings on T-shirts and stuff that were psychologically damaging to this individual. At that point, I realized the power that I had as an artist. So the U.S. military has an ability to find out what your powers are. At the U.S. Naval Academy, during what's called plebe indoctrination summer, they give you all sorts of tests to find out if you're a good electrician, if you're a good plumber, if you're a good debater, if you're a good chemist, whatever your specialty is, they find out.
Would that be fair or safe or okay for me to say it sounds a little bit brothery?
Yeah, but that's what the military is. I mean,
Okay, I just want to say, because it sounds
Once you-
that way, I'm getting,
once
yeah.
you join the military, you give up your
You
freedom,
give up.
you give up your rights.
Yeah.
And you are created into a killing machine, is what they do.
And so when they had you do this painting on these T-shirts, did the, pardon me, did the shit screen, for the sake of lack of a better word, did he know what this assignment was? Did he know the impact or anything that was going on, or?
You know, it's really unfortunate. I have no idea what happened to this individual. I know that people were attempting
Whoa.
suicide while I was there, and that's why it broke out in the news. It was covered in the Washington Post, the
Oh
New
my
York
goodness.
Times, because there was damage in the leadership laboratory of the U.S. Naval Academy. Essentially what they were doing is they were teaching us to torture like they eventually did at Abu Ghraib. And like I said, I had no idea, because at that time I was just following orders.
This is so powerful.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a campaign going on where all your
Oh my
classmates
goodness.
are basically harassing you, bullying you, it's just like what's going on right now in the news. You know, is what we were doing. We were, our assignment, my assignment in particular, since I was his roommate, was to make sure that this guy crumbled, and that he either resigned from the U.S. Naval Academy or
Oh
killed
my
himself.
goodness. How were you, when you were doing that, if you don't mind me asking you? How did that make you, what were your emotions with that? Again, I don't want to get too personal if you don't want to share, but
That's okay.
what was,
Well, to all the soldiers out there who listen on Independence Day, you guys would relate to this. I mean, if you're told to kill by your commander, then you kill, because those are your orders. And so really what happens is you don't have emotions at that point. You lose any sense of moral or ethics, and you just become like a machine. And so my order was to paint these images, and so that's what I did. In retrospect, I look back and I realized the harassment and bullying that I was actually doing, and the psychological damage that I was creating for this individual. But this was what I was ordered to do. So as a good soldier, I did what I was told to do. I felt conflicted at the time, and that's why I ended up leaving the military. I was given the option of having an honorable discharge, because with the help of Gary Ackerman and Alphonse D'Amato, we were able to blow the whistle on what was happening at the U.S. Naval Academy.